And I'll even address a few complaints of the asshole-ish variety.
Oh, hey guys. Welcome back to a brand new episode of JetpackRetro. Now, today, I'm here to apologize. Today, a fan of the asshole-ish variety, who's been an asshole-ish variety fan for years, I guess, is going to be covering what has been happening with Angry Video Game Nerd this whole time I've been away. I didn't want to do this video. Did not feel like covering it. But after what I've missed and what I've been seeing, it needs to be addressed. So, sit with me. Get injected with a few tranquilizers from trying to break into a zoo because that monkey flipped you off like I have. And let's get to today's video. Now for today's video, we are going to be step by step covering things that have popped up that he's done and discuss them step by step. Alright, let's do it. This one really hurt to see. Now the thing is, I will say, the only reason why people really upset with him doing the merge thing with those guys is due to the fact that they just seem to have taken over everything. I am not kidding. Take a look at any of his work after the merger. It's almost as if they want to force themselves as hard as possible into the world of Angry Nerd and base themselves off him so badly. I can get you owning him. I can get you maybe picking up the slack of his work, but don't take over the entire fucking thing. Ooh, I almost freaked out a bit there. Let me calm. Now, the only reason why this is sad is due to the fact that Angry Nerd was always a lone horse. It was always done by him. And with that, you were able to see the passion squeeze off him.
It looks like a dingle hopper hanging off his...
What? I believe you meant dingleberry.
I like dinglehopper better.
Episodes covering or being based on stuff he actually himself enjoyed and loved talking about, and everything he covered before, you could tell was his choice, his writing, his passion. Now, we have dumbass shit like this.
Yeah. What are you doing, Justin?
What am I doing? As always, I'm collecting Gengars. I probably have the world's largest collection at this point, as you might have seen in the one video we did on Cinemassacre of me and Mike doing a room tour. But I just got this one, who's very exciting. Hold on.
James, I know for goddamn fucking well you don't know one single thing about the Kingdom Hearts series. And I can tell that this was an obvious push just for views, which he seems to do a lot now, you know. Taking a look at his new episode he made a few days ago, that this is just what he does now. He'll only make a new episode if he has to due to a sponsor.
Pretty disturbing, but not as disturbing as having your unencrypted data being harvested by hackers.
Or to cover some fucking trending topic in order to reel in those views. So yes, this new corporate business screenwave shit that he sealed the channel into, I don't approve of it. I don't like it. And I will admit that in recent years they've fucked off a bit and let him do it on his own more. But still, there's still hints of them still being part of it. Now, this video was the kicker for a lot of extra backlash. I do agree that he doesn't at all in the slightest cover any of the actual problems. It seems throughout this video he does nothing but keep tiptoeing around the problem. He keeps bringing up other things that have nothing to fucking do with what the complaints are. And I do think Lady Emily said it best in her example about how it's like if a waiter just gave you some shit food. And then they're like, well, be grateful or else you wouldn't have it. I'm sorry, but I agree with her on, well, thanks, but if it's shit, it's shit. It doesn't matter what you had to do to get it or be grateful you even have it. Fuck off. I want it the way I like it. When you do it that way, it's just a throwaway at that point. When the content these people are helping you chum out is not doing you any favors, then I'm sorry, that team you're working with is not doing you any favors. It's very simple. That's the way it is. And I won't lie, when it comes to the whole I don't have time thing.
Honestly, I just don't have the time.
Time sucks. Nobody likes time.
Exactly.
I can't afford to sacrifice the amount of time it takes to make an entire movie from start to finish.
I do agree with it being a meme because here's the thing. One, you rarely ever fucking upload. And two, you don't even do majority of the work anymore. And three, you don't even know what you're doing anymore from what it seems in your explaining computers poorly video.
Whenever I need a different angle of the room, that means everything has to move. The microphone, I have to take this wire down, the lights, you can imagine how much of a pain these are.
So they just seems like at this point, it just seems like an excuse. Because you're not even involved like you were anymore back then. You're not even in charge of this anymore. You're not even doing half of anything you used to do back then. So it just feels like you're using it as an excuse. And I heard the whole, well, I have kids now, but I'm sorry. You also have a wife. Unless you are saying to us right now that she does nothing at all, which I bet is not true. You have the help there. You have somebody by your side helping with the kids. You work from home. Everything you do is from home, so this shouldn't be a problem. I cannot see the problem. I grew up in a home with a single parent who lost everything and had to go from place to place trying to take care of us. And even her, on her own, with barely anything, was still able to take care of us and get other stuff done. So I'm sorry, with what I grew up with and what I've been seeing in your current situation, that just does not seem like an excuse anymore. Now, I have heard from others maybe he just wants to spend more time with his kids. And if that's the case, sure, fine. But you're telling me you can't just pick one day out of the fucking week where you go, all right, kids, love you, go to your mom, I'm going to quickly do an episode. Quickly film your shit, send it in, and then just keep spending time with your family. One day out of 7 days, out of a whole fucking year, counting stuff you take off in order to go on vacation with them, seems like a fair bet to me. It seems like it's all set up for you perfectly. So no, I don't agree with the time thing. This one depressed me the most. Growing up, Monster Madness was a highlight I looked forward to every single year. That's the reason why I myself, for years, I've always been trying to do my own version to fill in the gaps. Long ago, on old work I did a full-on marathon called Ghoulish Gallery. But I didn't like how sloppily it turned out, so I canned it and put the videos away. Maybe I'll unlist the videos when it comes to next Ghoulish Gallery, because I'm planning on bringing it back this time with way more detail. Be ready for that when October hits. So maybe then I'll release those episodes. But for now, I'm just trying to make sure it's good because I loved Monster Madness growing up. It was a highlight due to the fact that my favorite holiday of all time is Halloween. And even when I was a kid growing up, well, to this day, I still keep my tradition where I will only watch Halloween stuff throughout the entire month. I will only watch Halloween-themed shows, themed movies, themed specials, and themed YouTube videos all throughout October. It's a tradition I've done since I was small, and I want to keep it. So what I'm getting at is, when I saw this debacle happen...
But there's a bit of a rocky start. The first episode had a problem with the script. One of our writers had somehow added a portion that was taken from a pre-existing article. That's unacceptable, and all of us here apologize for letting that sneak in.
Yeah, I mean, it was disheartening. But I do agree with some other points of views I've heard, and you guys might not agree with me, but I don't care about the plagiarism. I'll be honest, I agree with some other points of views I've heard. Everything is plagiarized one way or another. Any work on YouTube is always either information you took from Wikipedia or from some source and then you mix it into your own thing. Now I know he didn't mix into his own thing like you're supposed to, but regardless, he recapped a movie using a quick review. Either way, you were going to get the same results. But that's not what bothers me. I don't care about the plagiarism. It is bad, but there's a form of that everywhere. What I hate is that there was no passion this year. Well, not this year, the year where this happened. I actually liked his last Monster Madness. That was actually really well done, even though we had to sacrifice good content for not one every day, just when I feel like it. But the Monster Madness that was hated with plagiarism around the world, what I hated so much about it was it felt lifeless. I'm not even kidding. Here's a comparison right here for you guys of the originals compared to the new one.
It's Cinemassacre's Monster Madness!
Brain movies, you gotta love them. The brain from Planet Arrows, the brain that wouldn't die, Donovan's brain.
It's Cinemassacre's Monster Madness around the world. Today, we're taking a little trip to Big Italy, the land of ancient cities, timeless art pieces.
As you can see, for some goddamn reason, the originals had this passion to them. Even the way he spoke was just filled with, you know what he's talking about is what he wants to talk about. He feels lively, passionate. Even the intros and all the stuff happening, you could tell were cool things he put together himself, wanting to see people's reaction. This was a series that always grew out of passion for horror and film and wanting to have a show like what he grew up with that talked about these horror marathons to keep people in the loop of classic, beautiful filmmaking. And I used to actually pay attention when watching this, taking notes, because it did help with techniques and ways of how you can film a horror film, or even something in the old, lovely golden age of the black and white genre. It made me appreciate horror and film way more. Like, I wasn't a fan of horror movies, and this turned me into a fan of horror movies. I started to appreciate the way they're filmed every year I watched this. His plan actually worked. What he wanted it to do and what he wanted it to stand for actually did come true. What he did Monster Madness for worked on me. It made me appreciate all these lovely black and white movies. It made me appreciate the more cheesy nature and the camp cult style of film. It made me love it more. So your plan worked. But then with this new one, it feels lifeless, it feels phoned in, and it feels like you just genuinely didn't care. When in the old ones, it was written, it was themed, it had explosive intros that reeked of something he would do, and it was lovely. And to have him just feel lifeless with the more newer ones, same goes for his Angry Video Game Nerd episodes. It just feels lifeless now when the originals felt lively and you could feel him go off of it. Well, I think my tranquilizer high is starting to come down. Thanks for watching, guys, and in case you ask, no, I am not going to be covering Rex Viper. The less said about that, the better. Now, I have been spending these last few days grinding away at one of my favorite games of all time that I have played for hours on end. And if you're wondering why, because I'm getting it ready for my first episode of a new segment I'm going to be starting on this channel. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be covering a real great game that I love so much, that I've spent so many hours on, including now recently for the episode. And I hope you guys enjoy. And now I'm going to go because I took 20 laxatives after the shot to see if it would negate it. And I think they're about to kick in. Bye, guys.
Ow.